Hello and welcome back to Ekmalay Studio. I'm Azadin. In the last video, we created our lamppost from our this series of videos creating our scene. In this video, I think I'm gonna do some grass, putting somewhere around the house and some of this area to make our scene a little bit more interesting. So let's start doing that. So first of all, I'm gonna move 3D cursor to somewhere clean so we can see and be able to do our modeling first. Press Shift A and I'm gonna add plane. Sorry, I forget to move our 3D cursor first. So Shift, right click to move the 3D cursor and then Shift A and then add the plane. So our plane is gonna be in this area. So G, Z, just to move it up a little bit so we'll be able to see what we are doing. And then I'm gonna scale it down. So S, X, I'm gonna scale it down on this in X direction, and then scale it down in Y as well. So S, Y, just to make it a little bit smaller. And then I'm gonna move the central point to somewhere around here, because when we scale up and putting our grass on the ground, that's really gonna be helpful. So I'm going to edit mode, and then everything is being selected, which is just only one face, and then G, Y, and move it down like this. So around here it should be fine. And then get out of edit mode. I'm gonna rotate this one in 90 degrees. So R, X, 90. Maybe sometimes your direction is different. For example, mine is RX, rotating this way. Maybe yours gonna be Y, because it depends, like your scene when you start with. I'm gonna scale the top little bit. So going to edit mode again, and then going to vertex mode by pressing number 1 on keyboard, or don't forget you can access from here as well. So vertices, edge and faces, S and X, and scale it down like this. Should be okay. And I'm gonna add some loop to our grass for bending. Control R and add few loop like this. That should be okay. And I'm gonna weld these two together. So you can select both of them, press M and add center, and thus became just one vertex, so you can move around easily. Okay, I think this is the first piece of our grass. So I want to bend this one because now it's too straight. I'm gonna select all these vertices. Don't forget to make sure the other side is being selected. If you have a problem, just turn on X-ray, that will select everything. Press R, X and rotate like this. G, Y to move it like this. Then select the top one. R, X again. G, Y like this. I'm gonna do a little bit more to this as well. R, X, and the last one as well. So R, X and a little bit, so just little bending as well. And then I'm gonna get out of edit mode like this, and I'm gonna duplicate this one a few times. So Shift D, R, Z, 90 degree. So you have another copy like this, and G, Y to move it, and G, X, just position in the way I want. And then I'm gonna make another copy, Shift D, R, Z, 90 degree, and then move to the place we want, G, X, and then I'm gonna create another one, Shift D, R, Z, 90. So G, X move it this way, and then G, Y move it this way. And now they are, they are similar, so we need to scale them down a little bit. So S, gonna scale this one down. That's why we put our central point at the bottom, so for when we scaling down, it's just gonna scale down toward that point, which is really helpful, because if you have this point in the middle, it's gonna scale from bottom on top toward that point in the middle, which is we don't want that to happen. And then I think I'm gonna scale this in Y as well, so S Y, just to make it thinner, because now it's too, and this one as well, so S X, just like this one too, so S X. Okay, I'm gonna make some more copy of these, so I'm gonna scale this one down a little bit as well, and then just duplicate some more. So you shift D and then Y to move like this, and then R to rotate on Z only, so something like this. Just make it a little bit random, I don't want everything to be in the perfect place. And then shift D again, and then R Z, and just rotate. Then G Y, move it this way and scale it down S, like this, should be fine. And then duplicate that one, shift D Y, move it out like this, and then G X, move it to the side. And I'm gonna put some little more around as well, so I'm gonna rotate this one a little bit, R C, like this, and then shift D Y, and then R Z, just rotate around. Shift D, another one, and then this time toward X, and then R Z, just move. So you know what I'm doing, is just duplicating this and put them in the area you want to make it a little bit more interesting and random. I'm gonna move this one toward this as well, so G Y, and then G X. I think we have enough there, should be okay. So I want all these to be one object, so we're gonna select everything like this, just make sure everything's been selected, and then hold down Control and press J, so all of them became one object. And I think if you want to keep it like this, because I don't like this line in the grass, you can't keep it like this, because sometimes it just depends on the style you're looking for. Maybe this is what you want in the low poly, but I think I'm gonna make this one shaded smooth, so just to have a little bit, so just I want to make a little bit smooth grass. Okay, so I'm gonna copy around this grass in our scene, but we're gonna do it by particle, because you can't do this if you don't want like too much grass, and you can go manually, like, you know, just duplicate this one and put them around like what we have done with the stone, or you can just select the part you want the grass to be, and by particle you just place them wherever you want. So I'm gonna try to do with particles, and that's quicker and easier rather than going manually putting the grass everywhere. But it depends, like sometimes it depends on your machine as well, what computer you have. If it's not powerful, be careful with too many particles putting on your scene. So I'm gonna move this one somewhere around here, because we just need this one for our as an object to add to the scene. So G X, move it like this. So this is our grass, and then I'm gonna try select the area we want our grass to be. So I'm gonna select the ground, and then press tab to go in edit mode like this, and then press 3 to go on face mode, or select this one just like this, because we're on the vertex, so just select this one, and then you just select the part you want, you know, the grass to grow up. So I'm gonna try somewhere around the house in this area. So I'm gonna select some of these in here, not too many. So I'm gonna just select like this, and then hold down shift and select the area you want the grass to grow up. So I'm gonna put some in here, some in around this area as well. Just wherever you want the grass to grow. It depends on whatever you want to do with yours. So just feel free to select the faces you want to have grass on them. I think I'm gonna put one in here, and we will see. We can edit this whenever we want, so it should be okay. You can select as many as you want, and then you can remove them if you don't want. But be careful, don't put too many, and especially the area you're never gonna use it or never gonna see in the camera. So be careful with that one, because just use the part which you need and you're gonna use it. So we select our faces, then we go into this one. So in here you just add these vertices we selected to sign to put in the group. So this group we're gonna add to our particle, just to tell the particle just to grow the grass in this area. So we're just gonna create a group and then assign. Don't forget this one. So assign, and then you can name it whatever you want, and to remember, because this we're gonna use this name in our particle system. So I'm gonna call it grass, and then area, if I can't spell, like this, and that should be fine. And then we're done from here, and then I'm gonna press tab to get out of edit mode. And then now what we want to do, we add our particle system. So go into this one, which is for particle a property, and then on this one just select this one, press on this one, and you're gonna add particle system. And we don't want emitter, because emitter is for something if you want to animate, but we're gonna use here because we don't want to animate. We just want to have our grass growing on the area. So I'm gonna select this one, and now you can see it's put in here everywhere. So first of all, we're going to select our area we just created. So you're going to a vertex group in here, and you remember the name we done, like grass area. If you select this one, you can see we just have here in this area which we have already selected. And other thing, we don't want this here. We already modeled our grass here, so we're gonna replace this one with the hair. So I'm gonna go to in particle system, and then going down to render option. In here you can change this one, path to object, and then we're gonna select this one. So it's good to have this one named something you remember, because I forget to name this one, and I'm gonna put this one in the separate collection just to make it easier for us to see where it is as well, and to hide whenever we want. So I'm gonna select this grass, and then press M, and like this I'm just gonna call it grass, and like this should be here. So even in here I'm gonna call this, because we created from plain, so I'm gonna call this one grass, just to make it easier for us to select in our particle system. So in here we change our render from path to object, and then in here you change that one to the grass, or you just select this one. Sorry, I think I never mentioned this one, because this is easier than going in here and looking for the thing you want. You can easily use this tool. I'm sorry, maybe it's too late, but I hope you already know this one. So it's easier to select this one and select your object like this, and we have our grass just growing up in the area, and it's already in the right direction as well, because sometimes you get into the problem, your grass is not facing the right direction. So what you need to do in that case, you just select your grass and then go into edit mode and select everything like this if you have that problem, and then just rotate, so R, and look at your particle here. So when rotating, look at this wherever the direction you want to be, and that should fix your problem. But we already have the right direction, so we don't want to play with that one. So I'm gonna just play with the particle system and make this a little bit more interesting, because now they are just exactly same, and we need to change the scale as well and make more random grass. So I'm gonna go to scale. If you want to make your grass bigger, you use this one, but be careful with if you have too many particles. This is the number of the particles, so you can make less or more. This is seed, just till like different, put them in different position depending, and this is the length. For example, you can make it smaller or bigger, similar to by scale. You can change the scaling as well, so in here, and this is the number of segments, so 5 should be fine. And I think this size, we're gonna leave this size, and then next thing we want to make them a little bit more random as a rotation as well. So by default you don't see rotation here. You have to select this one, advanced, and then you will get that option down there. So select this one, and then you have rotation down here. So you select rotation, and then you select the object you want to face different direction. You can change it from here as well, but Z should be the right one, so because we want our grass to face toward top. And in here you can randomize your grass like this, or rotate, randomize as well. So it depends, like for example, how much you want randomize your grass, because it's not perfect. And I think other option to do with the scale as well, we should change the scaling, randomize as well, because this is just for rotation, to make it more random and rotate them. In scale mode, in here, we don't want all the grass to be exactly same size, so scale randomized, you can change this one to make some smaller, some bigger. So I'm gonna give it about 0.7, 0.8 should be fine. And the next thing, I'm going to turn on this one. Sometimes it give it interesting look as well, but be careful when you're selecting this one. Maybe the number is too high, and you have to be patient if you don't have a very powerful computer, and it may crash your software. So it's good time to save your scene and then select this one. So now it gives you more option, it make more copy next to each other. These are like a child of the grass we did. This option you see now has even more. So if you have a powerful computer and you want your grass like this, too many, you can keep it like this, or otherwise you just count down this one to the way you like. For example, 0 is the normal, what we have before you turn on this option, and 2 is gonna duplicate that one. So probably 2 maybe is fine. We're gonna know about this, or we can change when we do our rendering. And in here you have seed to make it different as well. And don't forget, this is for just display. in here. So when you render, it's gonna render 100 times like this. So make sure you put this similar to this one, because if you're happy with this number, just change this one to 2 and make test render to see how it is. I think I'm gonna try to render our scene just to see our grass, but I think we don't have any light, so it's not gonna be we can't see here, because I need to put a light. So I don't want to talk about light now, because we will have a separate video just talking about the light, but just for the sake of the seeing the grass, I'm gonna quickly put a light in here, and then I may be gonna delete it, and we're gonna talk about the light later on. So by adding the light, you just hold down Shift A and then go into light, and I'm gonna add sunlight just for us to see how much grass we have on the scene. And then I'm gonna move it up like this, and now we should have a little bit better view if we render this, because remember we put the camera in here just for our position. So it gives just a little bit idea, like, you know, how many grass we have in here. So if you want to make it more, you just change that number we have in here. So for render, just make it like, for example, 4, you will have a more grass in there when you render. So you can press F12, or you just render image here, like your shortcut is F12. So you see it's a little bit more, but I think for me this is enough. So we have 4 count, it should be okay. And I'm gonna delete the light now, because we're gonna do lighting properly in a different video. And if you want to add more area to, like, you know, to add the grass in more area, so what you need to do, you just go to select your plane, go into edit mode by pressing tab, and then just hold down Shift and select more area, for example like this. And then in the bridge mode, you just select this one and assign this part as well, and that should work fine. If sometimes just like a glitch doesn't work or give you the problem, keep them selected and remove this one and add another one and just name it and sign it. That will fix the problem, but normally it should work. You see now we just have our, and we just click sign, and it's adding to this area as well. So whenever you want to remove or to add grass from anywhere, this is how you gonna do. And I think for this video is enough. And as I said, this series of videos haven't been really, like, you know, planned on script. So we're gonna see what else we need to add to our scene, and we're gonna start from there. So I will see you in the next video.